Well, Mojovia, I think you might have been expecting episode 124 on this Monday, but as life would have it, we got to push that out a little bit. Our guest has had some life challenges of his own, and we'll be getting to the Wheel of Infinite Wisdom a little later in the week, Dave.
Yep. I can't wait. It's always a fun episode to do.
Well, what we're going to do for folks today is have a double bill installment of Model Show Spotlight, because we have two that we really want to promote for a couple different reasons. One is the Military Modelers Club of Louisville, our own home club, has a show coming up real soon.
Yep.
And the other is IPMS Santa Rosa out in California on the West Coast, who is experimenting with a new judging format for their region.
Yep.
And we wanted to get both these folks on and tell us about their shows. So, Dave, how about we get right into it?
You got it, man.
Well, folks, first up is a conversation we had with our club president, MMCL, Rich Guetig, and discussing the upcoming Military Modelers Club of Louisville Invitational. It's going to be in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, here coming up on
September 28th.
September 28th. So thanks for bailing me out, Dave.
You're welcome.
But we can let Rich tell us all about that. So let's get right into that segment. Well, Dave, fall is here, and we are getting back into the fat of the show schedule, and September's always good because our own show, the Military Modelers Club of Louisville, hosts their Invitational this time of year. And tonight, we got club president Rich Guetig on the line with us. And Rich, welcome to Plastic Model Mojo.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And, we certainly like to promote this show because it's the home cooking, but looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, we're ready. We're just tying up loose ends, but everything's set. We're looking forward to it, moving back out to Paraquat Springs.
Okay, so let's do the who, what, when, where's first. The show is as we record this, the show is next Saturday, the 28th of September. Doors open when?
Doors open at 9:00, general admission and registration, and it'll go till about, I think the award ceremony's for about 3:30, but everybody, it should be over with by 4, no later than 4:30.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on getting those awards done and getting people out the door. Now, registration runs from 9 to noon?
Yes, 9 till noon, unless the head judge decides to delay it, but we're pretty set on noon right now.
Okay.
And general admission will go from 9 till about 12 to 1.
Now, this is at Paraquat Springs, which is a convention center in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. And Shepherdsville is about 25 miles south of Louisville. And we've held contests here before. In fact, we've held a couple regionals at this location before. But this is the first time that the show has moved back to Paraquat Springs. Why'd y'all decide to go back there?
Well, last year with the Triple Crown Plaza, there was a few little issues that we felt like we did not want to put up with this year, and that was like the cleanliness of the bathrooms and the garbage that was piling up. The facility, I mean, as far as lighting was excellent, and vendors could pull right up to a garage door style opening, and it was good, but we just, and also they went up on their price a little bit.
Sure.
And with checking into Paraquat Springs, the reason why we left there a few years back, or several years back now, was because they went up in their price. But now we have a little bit of a connection with our show chair, Joe Betts, and one of the individuals out there that runs Paraquat Springs. And we were able to secure the spot this fall. And we're looking at talking with them about going ahead and scheduling 2 years out.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So next year and the next year after that. So that'll be the next step after our show. But Paraquat Springs, as you said, is in Shepherdsville. It's a top-notch facility. Like you said, we had some regionals out there. There's plenty of room. The lighting's really good. And on top of that, there's numerous food establishments around that people can go out. Plus, though, at Paraquat Springs, there will be concessions there. and I hear the food's pretty good.
Since we were out there previously many years ago, that area, which is really right off the interstate. I mean, you get off the interstate, you can you can see the facility, and you are literally 2 minutes from it. But the area around that intersection or that interchange has grown. There's now a bunch of hotels. There's a bunch of restaurants. There's a go-kart and mini golf place. If you're bringing the family along and you want to take them over there and keep them entertained. The facility has pull-ins for the vendors so that they can get their stuff in easily. The lighting is really, really good, every bit as good as Triple Crown, where we've been doing it the last few years. If you all were able to pick it up for a good price, I completely understand why you made the move.
Yeah, it was a little bit lower than Triple Crown. And of course, with Triple Crown, I think they were going up in their price a little bit too. Triple Crown holds a lot of little conventions and things there.
Sure.
So I think our honeymoon period with them had to come to an end.
So let's talk about the MMCL show. And you can't talk about the MMCL show without talking about the raffle, because our club prides itself on literally the best raffle I think I have ever seen at any show, including any nationals. We have tons of stuff. We have quality stuff. The tickets are reasonably priced, and literally people walk away with armloads of raffle winnings. I know there are plenty of guys who come to the show just because our raffle is so good. I'm assuming this year we're set up for more of the same.
Yes, we are. We've been pushing the raffle items with the members, and they've been pulling in their donations. And matter of fact, I still have to get mine over there, which would be a nice chunk. As you mentioned, the price. You can't go wrong with $1 a ticket and $6 for $5, and then going up that gradient. On top of our regular raffle, we always have the miscellaneous, the armor and aircraft barrels that you can put your tickets in.
Right.
And on top of our big, that raffle, which we have several items for in each category, we have a super raffle. And this year is looking great as usual. They are $5 a ticket because most of the items are large 1/16 scale armor.
Oh, wow.
1/6 or 1/12 scale cars. We have a number of 1/6 or 1/32 scale nice aircraft. And in addition to the large items, we also have, like I don't know if you guys have seen, like Andy's Hobbies headquarters was selling those Tigers, like 3 in a box and 2 in a box. Yeah. Well, we've had some members donate some boxes of those for the big raffle. It's shaping up like it usually does. Our system we went to a computer system a couple of years ago, and that's been a big hit.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, other shows are now imitating and doing something similar where the whole process is automated. So instead of a guy standing in front of a big easel with a paper writing all this stuff out, you've got a big computer monitor and it's all automated. So the numbers are constantly updated. It makes collecting your raffle winnings so much easier.
Oh, yeah. And the ticket sales, the biggest thing we had to go into not the biggest thing, but the tickets have those barcodes on them. So
right.
That's what you can take up right into that computer system. And matter of fact, a gentleman that's in charge of the raffle for next year's Nationals is coming to our show next Saturday because he wants to hear everything about our system.
Good.
All the bad, because he wants to use it basically next year. And
that's good. That's good because I think, gosh, Dave, the last 2 Nationals we've been to, they've been using the big Post-it note ledger pad things with the magic markers.
Yeah, the raffle at the Nationals is not what it could be. And so now 2 years from now, with our club participating with some other clubs to host the Nationals, I expect that we're going to see a really good raffle performance at the Nationals in 2 years.
I don't know if you knew, Dave, but we are running that raffle in 2000.
I did indeed.
Yeah, Alex Restrepo has been spearheading that.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it, but the Nationals, I hope this is okay to say on here. If it's not, you can delete it, Mike. But, the Nationals gives $2,000 for purchasing items. I had no idea they did that.
Yep. To help seed the raffle prize package, and then they solicit from vendors who show up, and they also solicit from the host chapter and some surrounding chapters. I have no doubt that in 2026 the Nationals is going to have the best raffle it's ever had, because
I think
Louisville kicks butt in that regard.
Yeah. As we purchased too, a couple of years ago, we purchased some tumblers for our miscellaneous armor and aircraft. And this year, Bruce Bunger, Brian's brother, has built this monster of a tumbler that we're going to use for the super raffle. And it is really cool.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, because I can't either.
Some people had mentioned last year, oh, y'all didn't mix the tickets up enough. I always gave you grief, Dave, when you always did our raffle.
I know.
That was just joking with you, but
sure. The other reason everybody comes to contests is vendors, and we are well stocked with vendors, are we not?
Yes, we are set up for 65 tables at this point. We have 63 confirmed, and I was told the other night we're thinking we're going to have 2 more tables sold, and we still have another week, before our show, and I'm sure there's going to be some individuals that are going to call at the last minute and say, hey, do you have a table? I told our show chair, who is Joe Betts, and we'll talk about him and Terry in a minute, but I told him, I said, and Dave Crouch is who's in charge of our vendors. I said, you go ahead and sell a few extra if you if you can, because, the more vendors, the better.
Well, and that's the nice thing about the Paraquat Springs location. There is tons of space, so it's not like you would have to wedge those vendor tables in if you sold some extras. There's still plenty of space.
Well, they gave us like so many tables. The setup here is so nice that they gave us so many tables. Matter of fact, I think we're covered for all of our tables. And if we go over 65, we have to pay for them. And I was like, big deal. This is about modelers and getting them the best, possible show that we can put on. And again, it's not, I didn't care about making money, but it's about, having vendors there. That's a lot of reasons why I go to a show, just to go there and find the deals.
So, Mr. Betts, we have a new show chair, Mr. Betts, who is being trained by our our club founder, our longtime show chair, Dr. Terry Hill.
And president of the club.
Oh, yes, and longtime president of the club as well. So obviously Joe's in good hands with Terry standing over him, guiding him. And then Dave Crouch has run our vendors for quite a while. And I'll tell you what, we always have a table at the show, Mike and I, for the podcast. And so I get to spend a lot of time with the other vendors in the vendor area during the show. And the vendors are so complimentary regarding the ease of setting up, the assistance they get, the ease of breaking down, the quality of the facilities. Vendors like our show. So I have no doubt that we're going to have a great vendor turnout, and there'll be plenty of people happy to take your money.
Yeah, they've always mentioned, we always have a big crew of members on hand to help carry in their items. And they are always appreciative of that. And we still have all our members showing up next Saturday to help to put up and break down, their items.
That is one advantage that our club has, because our club is big as far as number of members, somewhere around 120 or so. We get a lot of them that show up to our show ready to work that day.
Yeah.
They're just the day soldiers for the club for the contest. So, I mean, we have one of the best groups of members for coming out to the show and doing all the little grunt work that needs to be done of any show you could ask.
Well, I'll give you a breakdown real quick. Asif and Cliff are doing the registration as usual.
Yeah.
Big surprise there.
Yeah. Brian Bunger, Bruce Bunger, and Alex Restrepo are in charge of the raffle, and they have plenty of volunteers already for that. As you mentioned, Dave Crouch with the vendors, and we have several members that will be there to help set up. Judging will be the head judges are Stu Cox and Randy Fuller, and they will be, getting all of the judges together and going over the rules and everything. And we've always had tremendous help from other club members that are coming to the show and several of our members. And as far as the vendors go, I know we have some really good vendors showing up. We have a lot of our own members will be setting up, and I know some of them are liquidating friends of theirs collection, so I know there's deals to be had.
All right.
As far as that goes. And Joe Betts, as you mentioned, Joe Betts has been with the club now for about 3 or 4 years. Very good modeler. Just he's hands on all the time with helping. And Terry, who I call the Godfather, the Godfather decided to step down after, I guess, 20 something years or longer.
At least.
Show chair. And so he's been showing Joe the ropes. And I want to say a plug here too. Our awards, we've always given out nice medallions.
Mm-hmm.
And recently, when I took over in January, I wanted to give back to club members some token of appreciation, and not me myself, but the club officers and that. So we're in the process of designing and getting challenge coins made.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and on top of that, just giving one to each member, we're also going to order so many that we can take around to other shows, like I've seen at several shows, I'm sure you have, where other...
Yeah, lots of clubs are doing that, lots of groups, some podcasts, some Facebook groups.
Where's the Plastic Model Mojo?
Well, everybody else is doing it, so we're thinking of doing something different. You'll see that in the near future.
Yeah, I saw dog tags at the Nationals. That was cool. A little dog.
Oh, that is a neat idea.
Well, so where I was going with that was we have decided this will be the last year of medallions. I think we're going to go to gold, silver, and bronze challenge coins.
Oh, okay.
And we've also added a few extra awards. I think you know of them. Best soft skin. We have a best Luftwaffe.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, of course, the Mike Knopfsinger best sci-fi.
Absolutely.
And who knows in the future, a friend who passed last year, I want to bring something up about, doing something in his honor.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, we've been well attended over the last several years, and I don't see anything that's going to come, that's going to stop that from happening next weekend.
Okay, to wrap it up, let's hit again. This is September 28th. Doors open for the general public at 9 and for registrants at 9 a.m. at Paraquat Springs Convention Center in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, which is right off the I-65 Shepherdsville exit. It's about 25 miles south of Louisville. For you people coming up from Tennessee and Alabama, it's actually going to shorten your trip by almost an hour compared to the old location. So I'll tell you, Rich, I cannot wait. I'm super, after having had so many MMCL guys at the Nationals this year, and for us to get to all see each other and hang around at a Nats, I've got to tell you, I cannot wait to be at the Louisville show.
Well, we're glad you're going to be there.
Well, we're looking forward to it.
Well, we're looking forward to having you guys, and we're always looking to see great models on the tables.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you in about a week.
All right, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, what do you think, Dave? I'm excited. I'm looking forward to Saturday.
I am jazzed. I really am jazzed because I really like Paraquat Springs. We've held numerous contests, including a couple regionals there in the past.
Oh, I'm well
And
aware.
it's a great facility, and the area around it has only developed since we last held one there. Nobody doesn't like that facility. All of the vendors love it because you got the ability to roll up and unload. I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to it. And besides, I'm looking forward to our home show. I always do. It's a chance to reconnect with a lot of the club members, some of whom you don't see at meetings or at other contests. So I'm looking forward to it. How about you?
Well, I'm really looking forward to it. I got all set up to be there, and hopefully I'll get there right as doors open and be there well into the afternoon.
Yep.
One thing I'm looking forward to, and our listening audience can help with this, I'm just anxious to know who's coming. We have a lot of reach out into Region 4, our own region, though we're kind of on the southern edge of it. So we pick up a lot of folks from south of us, and that would be Region
3.
Region 3. And then I don't know, sometimes even from the west of us. So
yeah, we pull in from folks from Region 5, St. Louis, southern middle Illinois, stuff like that. So yeah, we got a fair reach, and I know Inch Eye's coming. I know some other listeners who we communicate with regularly are coming. So I'm anxious to see who all shows up.
Well, I'm hoping folks will let us know that they're coming before Saturday.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you are, DM us or send us an email and let us know you're coming. And when you do, please stop by the table and have a chat with us. We'd appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Dave, our next show we want to spotlight, the folks running this deal reached out to us about a month ago. They gave us a lot of warning. So we've kind of had this one on the back burner for a while. It's IPMS Santa Rosa out in Northern California there, and they are yet the next club to be experimenting with an open format for judging.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and they've apparently done a show pretty consistently for years, and they're trying something new and different.
Well, let's let them tell us all about it. Well, Dave, we've got another show to spotlight this month. With us tonight is Randy Bumgardner and James Mirando from Region 9 IPMS Santa Rosa. Is that right, guys?
That's right.
And you guys got a show coming up. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the show.
Sure. I'm Randy Bumgardner. I will be the co-head judge for the show this year, in addition to Michael Kleeman, who is the other co-head judge. Been around at IPMS Santa Rosa for 20 plus years, except for my 10-year stint in Texas there, where I was part of Austin Scale Modeler Society, held various positions in the club, treasurer, president, all that kind of stuff. So got a big show coming up. It's a big change. We'll get into that in a little bit.
And I'm James Mirando. I'm the current club secretary, and in connection with the show, I'm one of the chief people responsible for trying to promote it. So we're really happy that you guys were having us on this spotlight tonight. We're excited about the show and looking forward to talking about it.
Well, let's start with the details. When, where, from when to when. Give us the lowdown on the date, the time, the location.
We're IPMS Santa Rosa Club, which is in Northern California, and just south of Santa Rosa is Rohnert Park, and this is at the Rohnert Park Community Center. It's being held on October 12th and Saturday, and the hours are from 9 to 4.
Is this a long-running show for you all? Have you all done this year after year, or are you just getting started?
Yeah. We've had, I joined the club back in, I think, 2002, and we've had shows every year from then up until now. I believe, like during COVID, obviously, that
right.
Put the kibosh on some things.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there was a couple of other years while I was in Texas that we didn't have a show. But this isn't our first rodeo necessarily.
Now, I've never been to a show on the West Coast. What's kind of attendance like for your show on a scale of small to large for an invitational type IPMS show? Where do you guys kind of fit?
I think we fit in kind of medium. Historically, we've had probably 70 between 70 and 80 actual contestants. We put the model into the contest, and anywhere between 280 to 350 models on the tables, depending on the year. Some years obviously better than others, but so I would say we're about a medium-sized show.
Yeah. Yep. That's about dead in the middle of where an invitational contest happens. So what stands out about your show? What's different if somebody's going to roll up to your show? What are they going to notice?
Well, I think a couple of things. One is that we have a pretty diverse set of genre in terms of both the modelers in our club and also who will probably be there again this year at our show. I mean, we range from, of course, the more traditional aircraft armor, but there's a lot of interest in sci-fi and in Gundam and ships and everything in between. So I think we'll have a broad participation in genre. And then the other aspect of it is that we're excited to, for the first time in our region, which is the local Northern California and Reno, Nevada region, to be doing the first open judging gold, silver, bronze system that, as far as we know, has ever been done. So that's going to definitely be different for the people who are coming and who are used to coming to our shows that we've done in the past.
I take it your previous shows were always your classic 1, 2, 3, first, second, thirds. So what made you all decide that you wanted to convert to a open system?
Our previous president, Deb Sodegar, he's very active in KublaCon and ReaperCon and figure shows. And he kind of came from that side of the fence, so to speak. And he put a stake in the ground and said, we're going to do open system this year. And a lot of us were already thinking about it. I mean, I come from the amps world, and so I'm already aware of it. And so we were, it didn't take a whole lot of convincing for a lot of the members. We said, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens with this thing.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, we have figure modelers in our group. We've got car modelers, people who come at it from, and like Randy said, amps. I went to Scale Model Challenge last year, really enjoyed the atmosphere there and experienced and appreciated their gold, silver, bronze judging. So it really wasn't a hard sell. And I think people quickly got behind it. And now we're super excited about trying to do this the first time, and hopefully it'll go well.
Well, we'll be real curious post-show to hear from you guys. So I'm curious to know how this goes for you, because I think there seems to be, we're getting close to a groundswell kind of grassroots thing, in my opinion, for this kind of being a kind of a format change for a lot of the invitationals. But back to your show, what's going to be the theme? Now, I think you have a theme that's kind of related to this change as well, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. Our theme is evolution of modeling, which directly comes out of the evolving into a new approach, a new judging system. And yeah, I completely agree. We've seen more and more examples. In fact, we sort of have looked at and are utilizing as references, if you will, some of the judging criteria that was developed in the PAXCon show that was last, I think, 2023 fall.
Yep.
And then the more recent Rocky Mountain Hobby Expo show that was in last June, both of which used open judging formats and developed some criteria for how to go about that. And so we've studied those and, gotten permission from them to use their approach, which was real helpful for us in terms of not trying to, reinvent the wheel.
Well, that sounds good. What about your staff? Are they going to be, well, I don't want to say are they going to be, you're going to have to do it this way. This is what you've advertised. What, I guess a better way to ask it is what are you doing with your judging team there to help facilitate this?
So we're trying to train as many judges ahead of time as possible on the open system, not looking for a flaw and compare it to your neighbor. We're trying to get people out of the mindset of comparative judging. It's like, okay, you have a model in front of you. You know what the standard is. Let's apply the standard and see where this thing falls. And so we're hoping to have a core level, a core cadre of judges that can kind of hit the ground running as soon as the models hit the table, starting at 9 a.m. Saturday morning. We're probably not going to have the numbers of judges we would like to have trained up by then. So we're going to have to, or I'm going to have to develop short and sweet kind of judges training on the fly the morning of the show for those who are interested in pursuing this, for who wants to see what open judging is all about. And that's the tricky part the first year. After this, we'll have people to call on to form judging teams ahead of the show and say, okay, you 6 guys, there's 2 teams here for, say, armor, and we have 2 more teams for figures and that kind of a thing. It's just this first year that's going to be a little bit of a tricky spot for us, but I think we'll do okay. We have a lot of interest in the show from some of the surrounding clubs, and I think I can pull from their members to hop on these judging teams that I need.
So you're gonna do, as far as the judging, you're going to start judging as soon as models start getting entered, much like they do it in AMPS, rather than closing entries at a certain time and then beginning your judging.
Exactly. Yeah. So our registration still runs from 9 to noon, like a normal show, a normal invitational would. But we don't have to wait for all the models to hit the tables to start judging these things in the categories. We can, that's kind of the luxury of the open system is, as soon as you see a model, you're judging it, or a group of models. What we're doing for the contestants is, if they bring a number of models in a single category, we're going to kind of triage it and say, okay, well, this is the model that kind of stands out amongst them. That's the model they're going to get an award.
You're going to limit modelers to 1 award in a particular category. Category is kind of nebulous when you're talking about an open system, but you mean one award per type, or 1 award per subcategory?
Well, we're not. We did away with the subcategories, so we have aircraft, armor, auto, ship, figure, Gundam, sci-fi, real space, and then the junior categories. And so if I'll probably bring a few models and I'll kind of smatter it across. I'll bring a couple of aircraft and a couple of armor, and I don't know, maybe a couple of Gundams. I build Gundams as well. So yes, and so to limit the amount of time that we have, or since time is a limit, even in the open system, we don't want to judge 300 models. We want to focus on which model is the best one in this modeler's category for aircraft, and which one is the best in his category, armor. And so he'll get 2 awards, one for aircraft, one for armor, if they meet the threshold, obviously.
Gotcha. Yeah, I understand.
Well, for the theme of evolution, as far as model entry is concerned, what does that entail?
Well, we were looking at 3D printed parts, newer models, that kind of a thing. ResKit does some fantastic work, and if we don't have a set theme award, essentially. So we're not
okay.
This is the best evolved model that we have. But our thinking is in terms of, we've come a long way. You've come a long way, baby. That kind of a
sure. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
And so, look at the Edward kits that are coming out these days. They're just fantastic. The photo etch, the 3D printed parts that are included in them, the plastic. There's still room for scratch building if you want to go that route. But there's also newer technologies that you can use, print masks on your Silhouette or Cricut cutter, right? And or if you have your own 3D printer, you could print your own 3D parts. And so we're kind of trying to showcase that, or at least bring that into the fold as part of our theme.
It is a changing world. I bought the Arma P39 kit, and they have the downloaded STL files to print your own canopy parts, and it's just pretty amazing. And that's the first kid I know that's done that. And you go back enough years, and the idea of including PE in a manufacturer's kit was new and novel and part of the evolution at that time. But now we're into a further phase.
Yeah, I remember when the tank kits first got metal gun barrels, and everybody just was absolutely stunned by that evolution.
Yeah.
Well, as far as facilitating the show, you've given us the location. What can folks count on coming in for filling their bellies or having a place to sleep?
And I just timed it out this morning. I didn't walk, but I looked on Google Maps, and within 10 minutes walking distance, there's a couple of good taquerias just south of the rec center. There's a sandwich shop there. Mountain Mike's Pizza is there. And this is all within walking distance, 10-minute walk to the show. So you can stretch your legs, get out, enjoy the sunshine. Because, it's Northern California after all. We're not going to see rain until November, December kind of a thing. So so it's safe. Or unless if you want to drive, there's more traditional things like Subways and McDonald's, within about a 5-minute drive.
Well, I assume shows on the West Coast aren't any different than those in the Midwest here and on our East Coast. What is the vendor situation going to be like at your show? How's that stacking up?
So traditionally, we usually have a pretty good lot of vendors. Since it's a medium-sized show, we probably have 15 vendors, maybe sometimes 20 vendors, depending on our space situation. Like the last few years, we were kind of constrained space-wise within our show, so we really had to limit the number of vendor tables. This year, the community center it's a larger space for us. And so we've increased the size of the vendor tables, or increased the amount of the vendor tables. And so we have a good range of stuff. There's always guys selling off their stash. So you get some old kits, and then all the way up to, we have some resellers who are selling newer stuff. And we kind of run the whole gamut of what you would typically see in a vendor room as far as kits. Anything from, an old monogram 1/90th scale DC3, for instance, all the way up to the new Edwards 72nd scale, Mustangs or 109 G10s, I think they just brought out.
I have both of them sitting behind me right now.
No surprise.
I'm actually working on that DC3, that 190th kit right now.
Man.
Well, is there anything else about the show you'd like our listeners and your potential attendees to be aware of?
Well, the other thing that we're doing is one of the tables we have reserved for a display-only table for our own club members' work. But at that same table, we're going to be promoting and soliciting donations to support the Help Heal Veterans organization. This is kind of part of this year's charitable initiative of our club. One of our club members, Chris Zanella, has been heading that up, and we've got a terrific batch of stuff that we're going to donate to their organization. And then we're asking people who are coming to the show to bring along a donation or to buy something from one of the vendors and donate it. I think you guys were both at the Nationals where Help Heal's veteran had a big table there, and we're doing a similar effort. It's just a terrific organization which, helps heal and rehabilitate veterans through modeling and craft work for therapeutic purposes, which has been shown to, be very effective. And so we think it's a great cause, and hopefully people will be generous at the show, and then later in November, Chris is going to lead a contingent down with a van or a U-Haul and bring all the stuff down. So we're excited about that too.
Well, that's great. So remind us one more time, date, time, location.
Date is October 12th, 2024, from 9 to 4 p.m., and it's at the Rohnert Park Community Center in Rohnert Park, California, 5401 Snyder Lane.
Perfect.
All right, guys. Well, it's been our pleasure to have you on and to help you promote your show here, and we wish you all success. And I have
Thank you.
2 requests, one which I've made already. We would really like a follow-up. Email's fine. We can get that into listener mail so Dave and I can discuss it at the close of your show. Just to know, when you know how this went down through your feedback and stuff, please let us know how this went, because this is a growing topic and one we've got our eye on. We'd like to see how this works out for you, and wish you all the success. The other is, if anybody there is taking lots of pictures, we'd like to see those on the Plastic Model Dojo Facebook page. If either of you are members there, and you both should be, or I'm going to be angry at you.
I am.
We both are. We both are. And those are great requests, and we will do both for sure.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for having us. Yes.
And if you haven't done it already, post your show flyer on the dojo as well.
Okay. We can certainly do that.
All right, guys. I got a football game to get back to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tight one.
Pleasure talking to you, and we look forward to hearing about your show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you as well. We enjoyed it very much.
You're very welcome, and thanks for listening to Plastic Model Mojo. We appreciate that. Well, Dave, I hope these guys make good on letting us know with some feedback after the thing is done and dusted, and they've gotten their own feedback to see how this went. Our friends at the Model Geeks and their PAXCon show did this. I know Model Fiesta in San Antonio's getting ready to run this format first of the year. I'd be real curious how this goes for Santa Rosa.
Yeah, I am too. I'm really interested to see how not only the judging logistics work, because obviously if you're doing an open system, it kind of requires different judging logistic. But in addition to that, the logistics of the awards, making sure you have the right amount, all of that stuff. Whenever you'd make a big change to your show, be it awards or vendor setup or raffle or whatever, there's always some adjustment. And so I'm interested to see how the adjustment goes here.
Well, I'd be curious to know from our listening audience what other invitational shows out there are considering this and why.
Well, I know Pittsburgh has done an open system for years. Now, of course, Military Modelers Club did an open system for quite a number of years, and then we switched back to the 1, 2, 3. It'll be interesting to see not only what clubs decide to experiment with an open system, but not only that, but what open system. When MMCL started doing it, it was because we had a lot of figure modelers, and therefore the way we handled it many, many, many years ago was very reminiscent of a figure show. And then I know a number of clubs, AMPS obviously does an open system, and then a number of clubs model their open system over the way AMPS does it. So I'm really interested to see how this develops over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and personally, I encourage it. I guess that's the way I would say it. When I go to a show, we've talked about this before. When I go to a show, the rules are the rules, and that's my expectation when I go in the door. I guess personally, I think this system has a lot going for it as far as overall show attendance and attendee satisfaction. I think would be a fair statement.
Oh yeah, rarely have I heard somebody come away from an open system show dissatisfied with the judging. Now, that said, that doesn't mean they're just like any system. There are pitfalls and downfalls, but I've not really heard any complaints.
Well, I think the biggest part of this is now this is getting frequent enough that the pros and cons of such an awards format are actually getting hashed out in reality, not in a hypothetical sense. Yeah,
no, I agree.
And I think the clubs running these systems are going to feed off each other, and this is going to curate down to something that's going to be workable. And I'm just curious where it's going to go, and it's kind of exciting to see this happen. And I don't know, man. We'll see how the Santa Rosa show goes, and really look forward to those guys' feedback.
I'm looking forward to it as well. I really am.
Well, folks, we always encourage you to get out and attend a model show in your area when you can, if you can.
Yep. We've been very lucky this year. You and I have managed to, assuming we both make it to the MMCL show and we both make it to MMSI and maybe one other show, you and I will have done really well this year as far as show attendance. And I think you'd have to agree it made your overall modeling experience better.
Oh, I agree. It's a lot. It's just a lot of fun. I like traveling to places I've not been before. I like going to haunts that are in places I've been to lots of times.
Yep. And meeting new people. I mean, just think of just this year, all of the modelers that we've met, that we, not only did we meet plenty of listeners that we hadn't met before, but just absolutely new people. That's the joy of going to model contests.
Well, I'll let you know that I'll have to double check the house social calendar. But as far as work interference goes, MMSI is back on the table for me.
All right. That is fantastic news. Because I was gonna not enjoy going without you, but if I had to, I would. Because a Husted Martini is awaiting me at MMSI, and I'm not going to pass that up.
So, folks, if you are in the commutable distance to these two shows, please attend if you can. And if you see other shows you'd like to go to, please make every effort to go, as you're going to have a great time.
Agreed.
All right, Dave. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. And as we always say,
so many kids,
so little time, Dave.
See you soon.
See you Saturday.
You got it.